Well, Monica, it's been really great learning more about you and learning about your story and how your journey to college and where you are now and the decisions you have ahead of you. And I say that I say that very genuinely because I feel a lot of connection between your story and my personal story as well. I myself served as an intern for a council member in San Jose, and I've always had a passion for politics and for crafting policy and to be sort of playing the public servant role for our country. And I see that directly in your extracurriculars and the way you speak about government and its role in our society. Um, Even your discussion of wanting to be a community organizer um, is something that you might not notice it right now, but it's actually very directly tied to Teach for America and what we do as an organization. Um, so if you will allow me, I'm going to give you suggest a few things that will hopefully dissuade you from going straight into your public policy program. Um, yeah, so I would first start off by saying that the government has the role of establishing laws and enforcing those laws, and public policy is a huge part of that. But I think there's only so much that the government can do at the federal and state level, and even at the local level. It truly takes us as individuals, as citizens of this country, to make a direct impact in the way our country moves forward. Um, and as a teacher, you are at the front of the lines of change you create in our country. I myself was a fifth grade bilingual educator in New Haven, Connecticut, at Truman School. And over the course of 4 years in the classroom, I directly taught over 100 students and had a positive impact on all of those students, one way or the other. Um, and when you compare that, most students have a few family members that you meet, you can really establish the sort of cobwebs, the sort of interrelated webs of that all form the basis for community organizing, um, which you are so passionate about. For example, I always tell my friends that teachers are community organizers. They have to meet up with parents. They have to visit homes. I myself established a few school cleanup events where I brought a bunch of students and their cousins to clean up around our community, in our neighborhood, in our school, and those sorts of things are truly impactful, not only in the short term but in the long term, and as a sort of establishing that our students are owners of their communities and they have the right to demand that their communities improve, and they have the power to improve their communities and our society as a whole. So I think the role of teachers is sometimes underplayed as just we are, here to educate. We're also here to mobilize change by, planting those seeds in our students. Um, and so that's where Teach for America comes in. We know that in our country we have profound inequality, socioeconomic and racial inequality. And it all begins with our students, our children, who most of the time face extreme hurdles that more affluent white students don't have to go through. And personally speaking, I was teaching immigrants from all over Central and South America, and even the Caribbean. And the things that our students had to go through, that my students had to go through, were things that I personally never faced, even though I myself was low income growing up. And so, with these sort of decks stacked against them, we have to, work our tail off to try to make things right or sort of rectify the issues in the short term. And so, my message to you is, you're in such a great spot. You're first generation. You're a Latina, and the way I posed the question to myself was, what can I do to give back to the community? So what can I do so that 6-year-old Carlos, or 8-year-old Monica, or 5-year-old so and so will one day get to graduate from college? And so I pose that question to you: what can you do? And I hope you see that TFA is a logical step to try to, close those income inequality gaps and those academic educational gaps between our students of color and other members of our community. So, thank you.